Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to Celebrity Natal Charts. Today, we are going to be looking at Jared Leto, who was born in, I want to say, Bossier City, Louisiana, if that's how you pronounce that, United States, December 26, 1971, 2:36 p.m. Birth time accuracy, excellent, so this says. And, Jared Leto is an American actor, singer, songwriter, musician, director, producer, activist, philanthropist, and businessman. After starting his career with television appearances in the early 1990s, Leto achieved recognition for his whole role as Jordan Catalano in the television series My So-Called Life, 1994. He made his film debut in How to Make an American Quilt in 1995 and received first notable critical praise for his performance in Profantine in 1997. Jared Leto has also directed music videos, including the MTV Music Award winning The Kill 2006, Kings and Queens 2009, Up in the Air 2013. And I'm sure he's done a lot of other stuff since then. This is just from, the website that I look at. Hello, welcome everybody. um, so Jared Leto is a Capricorn with the rising Taurus. Um, so he has a first house in Capricorn. So this means that his connection to his father might come from some type of country or rural background. He might come from some country or like a land of some sort, but like like a very agricultural background. I did sort of forget like where the Jared Leto craze started. I do remember him from My So-Called Life. And let's see, whatever we can tell you about his first house. His self-esteem, it comes from that as well. What's his name? Jordan Catalano. So maybe even if he's not, from the Basque region or Italian or whatever it is, having played that Italian character gave him a lot of confidence. The first house also talks about like your appearance and the way you look. I don't really think he looks very like bovine or Taurian. He's kind of like eccentric and weird, but I guess he sort of has a very classic look and then turns that into eccentricism. Um, I wouldn't assume that he was a Capricorn, and I wouldn't assume that he was a rising Taurus. So what do I know? Um, and but also I guess maybe there's this thing about like wanting to appear as if he has money and is wealthy and is rich, because that does things for self esteem. So whether if you're like gothic and eccentric or in a in a suit, um, it's as long as that it's expensive, right? He probably wouldn't be, I don't know, but yeah. So anyway, he wants to look rich, and then his second house is in Gemini. So he probably talks to his family a lot, or his family he might like come from some money, his family might have invested in him, uh, just to help him with his career and things like that. Saturn and Gemini, or were a lot of limitations for him. Saturn in the second house. But it's like so the second house is your cash cow house. Like it's like how you make money, what you make your money off the most. So, if I am an asparagus farmer, my second house is asparagus. So he has Gemini in his second house, which is like his family, his classmates, people he went to school with, and like cousins and things like that. But the thing about him being a actor, it's that those Gemini people could also be like people that he like pretended to go to school with on television. Um, and then his third house in Cancer. So the third house and the fourth house, his third house in Cancer, fourth house in Leo. This always talks to me about like their family and their environment. So he came from a very nurturing, loving, caring environment. I mean, it says he's from Louisiana, but the fourth house in Leo, it sort of seems to me like maybe that place there's a lot of theater or something going on around theater or television in that area, where one can be famous. And he has pretty good hair too, so like maybe people from Bossier City um, have good hair. And it's a strong hairline. Like he's a little bit older. It could be plugs, but you never. I mean, even that is still good hair. You know what I mean? Hair plugs, wigs, extensions. That's still good hair. Um, and the third house in Cancer, he might like. So, God, who else was from Louisiana? Maybe like Britney Spears. I don't think I did her chart. Somebody else was from Louisiana. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Maybe he's like Justin Tim. He's like Tennessee. So maybe like sounds like his mother or talks like his mother, or in a way that his mother would speak. So maybe he like speaks a little bit of French or uh, whatever how people sound from Bossier City. Maybe it's like an accent for real. Um, and every time I keep saying it, Bossier City, it does sound like Bossing Say from Avatar. 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, fourth house in Leo. So probably like feels very famous. Probably felt that he was going to be famous. Um, Probably just like naturally behaves in a way in which people would give him attention and just maybe like very intuitively in the depths of his emotions in the fourth house. And then the fifth house, this is the Leo house. I always say it's like the house of detours and distractions, where he has Virgo. So maybe he spent a lot of time in school and didn't really need to. I mean, that can only really be said, like in like complete reflection of a life. But so maybe he's like a hypochondriac, always worried about his health, and he's usually fine. And then I see that he has okay. Uh, is a hypochondriac, and then he's fine, or I got to take this class, I have to take this course, and then he's like better off without it. But I'm not like a regret. I mean, so five and the tarot is like five of swords, five of cups, five of wands. It's like battles, fights, remorse, regret. Um, and so maybe there's like a lot of fights or battles and things and apologies that he's given out that he's like, I didn't really need to do that. Um, so I guess as I was seeing maybe in Justin Timberlake's chart where I was like, oh, he's apologizing all the time, for things that he actually did that were bad and wrong. Jared Leto, I feel like maybe apologized for things that like aren't his fault. But then in his sixth house, so how does he get over this? Like always saying, I'm sorry. How does he get over this? Is his sixth house in Libra. Like, how does he heal these obstacles or overcome these obstacles? Where he also has Pluto in Libra as well. So this is like from implementing change, like changing behavior. So it's sort of like, if someone's always constantly like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, but there's never like a change in the behavior, it doesn't really matter, right? Um, so I think Jared Leto is a person who like, evolves and morphs and like actually creates change. I think we should just stop calling this celebrity natal charts and it's like Favor Flav fan club and I hate Justin Timberlake natal charts. Um, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, yeah. So sixth house in Libra, and then so also how does he heal himself is like through song. A lot of people, including myself, like to focus on the villainous Valentine nature of Libra, or maybe like the romantic selfishness of Libra, or the laziness, or whatever negative things that people associate with Libra. But Libra, they bring things into balance like scales, right? So I'm like, oh, I see it as scales or like magnets and the law of attraction. But it's also like the scales of musical instruments. And as we move forward into this new day and age of technology and uh, you know beatbot music, people will forget about how, or people might forget about how talented Libras are at different instruments and things like that, and the beauty of their voice and like how beautiful it is when they sing. I've never listened to. I know he makes music, but I've never listened to any of his music. So maybe his music's really good. Um, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so seventh house, Scorpio. That means you should date a Scorpio. Um, date a Scorpio, join the Mile High Club with a Scorpio. Maybe not get married to a Scorpio, but like he gets along with Scorpios very well. As I'm saying, he's like attracted to Scorpios. Scorpios are attracted to him. Um, and then and I was very accurate, just like to toot my own horn in the David Bowie video, about David Bowie being. I mean, I don't know, because it's like, okay, so I'm saying that he should get married to, because he was the rising Aquarius, man from Mars or spaceman, whatever. Um, I was like, oh, in his seventh house he has Leo, which so a good partner for him would be a Leo. But maybe not marriage because this is what astrologers have been saying to me. Like literally, celebrity natal chart series. Should you get married to your seventh house or your ninth house? Has been like the tag card of these videos. And David Bowie, I mean, if you think he was successful in love and in life, he got married to a sun sign that matched his seventh house, and that was Iman, who's like known as like one of the first like African supermodels. So I don't know. And is that even good? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, oh, well, she was a first African supermodel. She might be like a horrible person because of that. She might be like the worst. She's a Leo. Like, she might be like the worst person ever invented. But I'm like, I don't know. Like, what is success, right? I'm like, yeah. So, who's this Jared Leto? So he should maybe, if he wants to be like David Bowie, date a person with a Sun Scorpio. Um, You know, that's and then it's like, is he perfect? You know what I mean? Like he might be a screaming banshee from hell as well, and they might be like a perfect match for each other. You know, so that's Scorpio. Oh, and he has Uranus and Libra too. So that does, like I said, talk about like singing on the internet. There are so many times that like just as a social media person that I think about how good a platform like MySpace would have been for a lot of the like RuPaul Drag Race contestants, and like X Factor and American Idol and things like that. Um, Maybe thinks about that too. So it's Pluto and Uranus in Libra. So Uranus talks about like boundlessness. So as much as I'm like, especially this being Capricorn, Sun people, I'm always focusing on how I mean, honestly, the beauty of Capricorn and trying to do architecture over mountains and hills and building tunnels and capitalism and things like that, and creating life where there is none. As that's like Capricorn and its limitations and how ugly it is. Whereas like Aquarius or Uranus is about like it's like the boundlessness of the horizon and the sea. But it's like which is better, which is worse, which is actually more ugly. As the sunrise might be like beautiful, it's not gonna help a locomotive transport food to people who need it in areas where they need it. You know what I mean? Um, so it's like Capricorn is like the furnace of a locomotive, like burning off smoke, and it's like, well, somebody's got to do it. Yes. So that is what I feel about Jared Leto and Capricorn. Probably will never get back to what the point of what all that was. And so anyway, his eighth house of Sagittarius. So eighth house Sagittarius, it's like he might be like very well known for being competitive. He might be like spiritually competitive about like his knowledge about like you know you know mythology and astrology and other things like that. He also has Mercury, Jupiter, and Neptune in Sagittarius as well. Um, and that is saying to me, so he might be like a competitive speaker. So I always call it like a brain donkey, where it's like he might not let other people speak. At times, like I said, like he might be competitive about like spiritual knowledge and things like that. Jupiter and Sagittarius. Jupiter and Sagittarius, I feel like is very great. 21 degrees. So at the age of 21, he might have like experienced a lot of like good luck that's still following him. I remember that Jordan Castellano character being very popular, like even parodied in Family Guy and things like that. Neptune in Sagittarius talks about like so other tagline to this series like how to get on TV. Where's your Neptune? He might have had like a lot of luck with a Sagittarius at a very early age that helped him get onto television. He might have just discovered that he was good looking or whatever. As I keep saying, that Neptune are these TV antennas. And um, eighth house. So the eighth house, to me also the eighth house is the house of like wishes, wants, and desires, right? So people say like sex, death, and taxes. Well, like people want sex, people want the money to pay their taxes, and people want to have like money to like have good funerals and death and have money to bring life into this world. So I think like want, wishes, and desires pretty much sums up Scorpio. Scorpio eighth house energy very easily. Um, and so it's like he wants to be lucky. It's his desire to be lucky. It's his want and desire to be heard, and it's his want and desire to like cast illusions and be on television. And then his ninth house, which we say is the marriage house, long term relationships, long distance relationships, people that he loved in college. We have Capricorn here, where he also has his son. So maybe around college age is where he found like self love and discovered like loving himself. Um, all metaphors implied, or all innuendo and double entendre implied as well. Um, and he supposedly should get married to a Capricorn. But I guess like it's would so if it's not like him getting married to a Capricorn or them being the best for marriage, I'd say they would bring him a lot of luck. They would help him out with school. Um, they would help them travel. They would, I guess, yeah, school, help them with school and travel. It's a Capricorn. So it's like if you need a loan from somebody for student loans and you are a rising Taurus, like, reaching out to a Capricorn person would probably be the best, or like to go to school, go back to school, or to travel. Um, and then in his 10th house, which is like the destiny house, your career, which you're supposed to be doing, he has Aquarius, his North Node, which is, pretty much talking about like your trajectory in life, and Venus. So I think like, so maybe if he was in a place where he's like, I never want to be on television, well, not like I never want to be on television again, but like I don't want to do a sitcom or I don't want to be in a movie ever again. And what is it? Should I like focus like solely on, like 100% put my focus on? I would say it's music. I'm like very curious. I don't think I've ever heard of like a Jared Leto song or like what that is. So now I'm just like really intrigued to listen to some of his music, and because I guess maybe it's really good. And if it's not really good, I guess it's the best thing that he's got. So if it's not good, I hope that it is good because it seems to be like his best bet. And if not, in that sort of like capitalistic climbing the tower sort of energy, then it's like the thing that he'll be the most remembered for. So as I'm like, oh yeah, Jordan Castellano from My So-Called Life, and it's like uh, that's what I'm remembering him for while he's alive. You know what I mean? And then like later throughout the eras, he might be remembered more so for his music, like other prolific Capricorn singers like King Capricorn, Elvis Presley himself, and David Bowie, and the woman from Wicked, and and Zayn Malik and other Capricorns that have been in the series. Yeah, because I'm always like, oh, Sagittarius is the Woodstock, you know, king of classic rock sign, but I guess like Capricorn is kind of the king of rock and roll as well. I mean, like that is sort of crazy that like Elvis Presley is a Capricorn, and I'm like Capricorns aren't the king of rock and roll, but whatever. But in complete disregard to all of that information, his 10th house is in, well, 10th house is Capricorn house. Um, and we're at the 20-minute mark, so I think that's synchronistic. And so his 10th house being in Capricorn. So I guess also that talks about like him also being well known for philanthropy, which was also said in his bibliography little thing, his little biography blurb. So I feel like we can skip. So maybe I'm like, oh, he's gonna be the most known for singing. Maybe he's gonna make a song that's very like U2 and philanthropic or something, and he'll be known for it very like where we are the world or whatever. Um, and then even more so than being remembered as Jordan Castellano or having a really pretty singing voice, I think maybe he'll be the best known for his philanthropy. Just to like immediately contradict myself. And in his 11th house, he has Pisces, which means that like Pisces are really good buddies and friends for him. His best friend might be a Pisces. A lot of the people that enjoy him I mean, like Pisces love that, like who doesn't like a philanthropist? Um, or somebody's gonna help people in need. Uh, might like him like online. Um, and then in his 12th house, which still sort of talks about Pisces energy, he has Aries in his 12th house, where he also has his moon and Mars, and also Chiron. So with the 11th house in Pisces and him being like this big time philanthropist and everything, he that does not mean that he's not like angry and like capitalistic and thinking about the bottom line and thinking about himself, as he is still a Capricorn. Chiron, it's like he's like very angry and sad. He kind of maybe like acts like the Aries a lot. I can kind of maybe even see it like in his eyes, like in his picture, like there's like a little bit of anger there with like hooded, um, what do you call it, eyelid shape and stuff. Um, but it's like there's things in his spiritual path or spiritual purpose, maybe like trying to be like a Zen Buddhist, but it's like, dude, you're like furious all the time. Um, and he maybe like be able to help people get in touch with, Buddha and Krishna and being tranquil and all these things, but it's something that he still struggles with himself. And even Pisces do tend to be very angry signs as well. And then yeah, so that's his chart. That's Jared Leto. He was born 1971. So let's just take a quick look at his lunar astrology. Because this series also is also about learning more about Chinese or lunar astrology, apparently. Because it wasn't the first video I recorded. The first video I recorded, I want to say, was like Justin Bieber, and then I did Chappell Roan, and I think I decided to do James Hong at a point where um, where I decided that I was gonna do like a million of these videos. But the order that I was premiering them in, like, 'cause I was just setting them as premiere, because I was like, I'm just not gonna release them all in one day. Um, it was like random, right? It was just like, oh, whatever, this day, that day, maybe sort of aligning their rising with the zodiac sign that was going along with that time, maybe, like roughly. And so I released, I think, that video like in maybe December or January, and he was born Year of the Snake. And this year is the Year of the Snake, which I made like if I knew, I wasn't like holding it as a card in my back pocket. Like I know it's a card in the deck, but I'm not playing it, and it just happened to get played. So I thought that was kind of cool and synchronistic. So we're super interested in lunar zodiac signs. So Jared Leto. That's his name. Don't wear it out. His like I'm like I guess I can't play it like in the video, but I kind of like the way that he's dressed singing in one of these videos I just googled. He looks sort of like a an X-Man. So that's kind of cool. He is a metal pig. So pig, I associate with Scorpio, and that's his son. Meta pig. So maybe there's something going on. I know like a lot of Scorpios are super into like Bitcoin and things like that. Let's see. So this says a metal pig in the Chinese zodiac refers to a person born in the year of the pig that is associated with the element metal. Wow. Which typically occurs in the year like 1911 and 1971, which is Mr. Leto's birth year. According to Chinese zodiac belief, metal pigs are often described as outspoken, confident, dedicated, giving their all to everything they do. Okay, outspoken, confident, giving all to everything they do. That's so cool. Um, let's learn a little bit more about the pig because, as much as I know so much about the monkey and like the dragon and like two or three other signs, I think that it would be sort of cool to learn more. The pig is sometimes translated as the boar. It's the 12th of the 12-year cycle of the animals, which appears in the Chinese zodiac. In relation to the Chinese calendar and system of horology, and paralleling the system of the 10 heavenly stems and 12 earthly branches. Although the term zodiac etymology refers to cycle of little animals, it is used in the phrase Chinese zodiac. There is a major difference between the Chinese usage and Western astrology. The zodiacal animals, including the zodiacal pig, do not relate to the zodiac in the area of the sky that extends approximately 8 degrees north or south, as measured in celestial latitude of the ecliptic and the apparent path of the sun and moon and visible planets across celestial spheres, constellations over the years. Okay, so I think that's just basically you saying like "fu Tarot Bay," the Chinese zodiac and the Western zodiac don't align, but I know that they have equivalents. Thank you, Wikipedia. Um, okay, it's like a fixed sign. I want to know more like so maybe I should do this on my own time, but I want to know more about like the myth of the pig per se. But maybe I'll figure that out on my own time and then come back at another pig video. Um, but I guess it is interesting that it's the 12th sign of the zodiac, or so it's just said, which I guess would be more uh, in conjunction or more equivalent to Pisces, because Pisces is 12 in the Western zodiac. But I guess those things don't align. So, according to the myth, the pig was the last to arrive when the Jade Emperor called for the Great Meeting. Okay, so like in my Jade Emperor zodiac sign thing, he's the last one. That's why he's 12 also. Other sources said that Buddha called for the Great Meeting when it was about to leave Earth. The pig arrived last. Yet another legend has it that the emperor organized a race to ascertain the order of the animals in the zodiac pig not having arrived long after all the other animals. He was about to call it a day when an oink and squeal were heard. The term lazy pig comes from this incident. The pig has become hungry during the race, stopped for a feast, and promptly fell asleep. The pig finally completed the race, however, and was accordingly named the 12th of the last animals of the zodiac cycle. So he's a lazy pig, and he's gonna come in last because he's gonna stop for a feast and fall asleep. Other sources say, I love how this like the thing is too like there's this movie called like the what is it like like animal Olympics, and that's what this sort of like reminds me of. I don't know, Zoo Olympics or something like that. And so it's just like the different accounts, like, oh, it was an invitation, oh, it was a race. Other sources say, like it's like a media presenter, like on the sidelines of a race. Other sources say that given his very stout form, he was too slow of a swimmer and thus could not do anything against the other animals. Or conversely, that he was fast and went up the wrong side of the river first. Okay, so that does sort of talk about like maybe not necessarily a scorpion energy, but that maybe like an energy of like second guessing yourself. Uh, you know, was the best swimmer, but was so good, swam the wrong way for too long until like ate up all their time, and now is not no longer the winner of the race. So that was really informative for me in my interpretations of the zodiac. Thank you so much for listening, liking, sharing, subscribing, and sharing with your most favorite pig, Capricorn, or Taurus rising about Jared Leto. Bye.